Welcome back to another Cavs game reaction. Happy New Year, everybody, as well. Maybe one of my New Year's resolutions should be to get these videos out in a bit more of a timely manner, but, I know myself enough that I'm not going to put that on a resolution and have another one that's failed by the middle of this month. But anyway, the Cavs lost Game 32 on Friday, final score of 119 to 111, their final game of 2023. Donovan Mitchell returning to the lineup, so that he sent Craig Porter Jr. back to the bench. And for the first half, seemed like everything was going well for the Cavs. They led throughout most of the first 24 minutes. A really smooth first half. Looked like, hey, Donovan Mitchell's back in the lineup. He's doing well. Cavs are rolling. But then once the second half began, especially in the third quarter, a couple of things just caught up with the Cavs in general. One of them being the duo of Giannis and Dame just going off. I don't want to fault the Cavs defense too much for allowing that to happen, because those are just two guys that, if they get on a roll, there's hardly anyone in the league that can slow them down, let alone stop them. They both dropped more than 30 points. Giannis also contributing 16 rebounds on top of his point total. So the stars were out for the Bucks. You can throw in a good shooting night from Malik Beasley in there, as well as to reasons how the Bucks were able to really make a comeback effort in this one really pretty early in the second half, where it was almost, once that third quarter started, I feel like the Bucks had caught up and were leading by pretty much like 5 minutes into that third quarter. But Cleveland, they had some big production nights from a couple of their better players as well. You had Donovan Mitchell in his return putting up 34 points, 1 assist away from a double-double. Basically, he was pretty much everything you would want out of Donovan Mitchell, except for him going 2 for 10 from beyond the arc in three-point range. And Jarrett Allen, he had a tremendous game. I believe it was a career high in points for him with 30 points. He had 12 rebounds to throw in 6 assists for Jarrett Allen as well, second on the Cavs in that game. So the Cavs with, not only did the Bucks have Giannis and Dame going, but the Cavs also had Donovan Mitchell and Jarrett Allen playing very well as well. The Cavs weren't exactly they weren't exactly deprived of good performances from their guys. So what was the difference? It was definitely shooting, where the Cavs were terrible from the floor. Three-point range was especially horrific. I mentioned the number for Donovan Mitchell was 2 for 10. Max Strus was the only other Cleveland Cavalier to make multiple three-pointers, and he went 2 for 11. So when 2 for 10 from Donovan Mitchell is your most dynamic three-point performance of the night, that usually means things aren't going to go your way as far as the win and loss result. Yeah, Dean Wade 0 for 2, Isaac Okoro 0 for 1, both George Niang and Karis LeVert going 0 for 6, Sam Merrill 1 for 4, and Craig Porter Jr. 1 for 3. That is absolutely disgusting. They could not drain a bucket if it had holes in the bottom. That was a bad performance. Now, if you were a math whiz, you could have been adding up those numbers while I'm saying it, or maybe you could pause the video and go into Google Calendar or something. Google Calendar, Google Calculator, whatever. You could add up the numbers that I just said, and you got a three-point shooting night of 6 for 43, 14%. That was awful. The Cavs did have advantage in points in the paint, despite Brook Lopez recording 6 blocks, but when you shoot that badly from beyond the arc, you're giving a great team in the Milwaukee Bucks just way too many chances to catch up to expect them to not be able to catch up to that game and eventually get away with it. And that's what happened after the Cavs built up again. They built up a pretty nice lead in the first half, but Milwaukee, they caught up almost immediately in the third quarter. Felt like they were getting constant stop-and-score sequences once the second half began, and the Cavs, they just did not have the shot going to answer the Bucks in that one. And this isn't a loss that sends me into a panic as a Cavs fan, because honestly, there's just a very simple solution to solving what gave them problems against Milwaukee, and that was to just make their shots. Because if the Cavs have an even an okay shooting night, it doesn't even have to be good, just as long as the Cavs would have had an okay shooting night, that game definitely would have been much more competitive down the stretch. We could be talking maybe about a win. I mean, who knows how the game would go. Otherwise, I'm not going to just try to, mind palace the Cavs a win, but it definitely would have been a much more interesting game down the stretch if the Cavs had managed to make their shots. But that's not what happened in reality, obviously. So as the Cavs begin their 2024 run tonight against the Raptors, I do think a couple New Year's resolutions for the Cavs could be to not sustain any more dynamic injuries, or you certainly don't need any more injuries to the starting five with Garland and Mobley still out. They definitely want to make the playoffs this year, and I think at this point, with Donovan Mitchell on the team and with the Knicks seemingly being out of the running for Donovan Mitchell, at least severely, I think the Cavs are probably going to hold on to him this year. I do think that they want to win a round, and a play-in series does not count as winning a round, by the way. I mean like winning an actual best-of-7 round in this year's NBA playoffs, and the Cavs do have the second easiest remaining schedule left for the season, so that definitely plays in their hands well for making the playoffs. But I think we saw last year that an easy schedule to close things out kind of can lead to a little bit of fool's gold, where a team might look a little bit more ready than they actually are because they've been feasting on some bad opponents. But tonight the focus is on Toronto, in Toronto, so hopefully the Cavs can start the new year off on the right foot for themselves. And that's going to do it for me in this video. Thank you so much for watching. If you made it this far into it, feel free to leave a like and subscribe if you enjoyed the video and you'd like to see more like it. I cover some other teams in Ohio. Maybe you like those videos as well. But once again, thank you for watching, and I will see you at the next one.